everyone. I'm a junior here at the University of Delaware. I am a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology currently, and I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, so in-state, didn't come very far. Home's like 20-25 minutes away, depending on traffic and depending on which way I take. So it's close by, but I guess primarily it's become sort of a family thing. Both my parents went here. This is where they met. My mom's sister went here for a little bit. I have 5 cousins that have gone here. My older brother went here. Also, when I was touring colleges, or college, I guess, this was the first place I toured. And as soon as I was on campus, I love the campus. I love the feel that it's not a big city. I probably wouldn't have done well if I went to some of the other colleges I applied for, like up in Boston. If I had been in a major city, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed life as much, because Delaware's campus is, I wouldn't say sprawling, but it's spread out enough that I get to take walks to class and see different parts of the campus every day. And it's just a really beautiful place. The Green is a great place to walk. And the fact that so many of our academic buildings are centered on the Green is great, because that means I get to see it every day. I used to work as a student researcher at the Disaster Research Center. We did a research project. I was a phone operator calling and doing phone surveys for a research project focused around recovery from Hurricane Sandy. And they had originally done one when it had just happened, and then they did a follow-up 5 years later, or 4 or 5 years later, whenever that was. That was last year, last winter, and then spring. And then once that phase of the project was done, I didn't really have any role there anymore, so I've now applied for a job at the library. And in terms of involvement on campus, I am in Riot Act, which is an improv comedy group. That's my main involvement on campus. That's my favorite thing to do. We practice twice a week, and we have shows once a month typically. I run the social media accounts for that. I run the Facebook and the Twitter. In addition to that, I'm also the soundboard operator for one of the student television network shows on campus, the bi-weekly show. It's like a sketch comedy and some live comedy. We do panel, we do guests and things like that. So it's like a Saturday Night Live kind of weekend update, and then digital shorts is kind of what we do. We mix the two. It's like a half hour every other Tuesday. It took me a while to choose my major. I was undeclared for a year and a half, and I took a smattering of classes. I took a lot of public policy, took some political science, took some criminal justice to kind of see what I was interested in, but then I ended up going back to high school to see what I enjoyed the most in there, to hopefully try to pick a path, and AP Psych was my favorite class that I took in high school, and it ended up being really the only thing that could keep my full attention for full semester. Other things I kind of lost interest in. I was only doing it for the grade, but now that I'm back in my psych classes, I'm back to the point where I'm actually enjoying school again, and classes are fun. I'm taking things I'm interested in, learning about mental disorders, how to treat them, learning about how psychology affects our social interactions with other people, learning how the brain works. Things like that are what's really interesting to me. And they make sense because my hopeful career path is I'm going to go into therapy or counseling or psychiatry, something like that. The dorm that I and most of my best friends lived in was called Rodney, which is no longer in use, but it was hands down my favorite dorm living experience. And there are some people that wouldn't be happy with me for saying that, because I met the other half, the female half of our friend group, met last year in the different dorm experience. But in Rodney, I lived by myself, so first semester was kind of rough, because I lived in a room by myself, didn't have a roommate, didn't really know anybody on my floor, and then I ended up befriending a whole other floor through some people I knew in high school, and those guys that lived on his floor, their floor, ended up becoming my best friends and still are now, and that's really shaped my college experience. Got me confident enough in myself that I made friends to go out and do other things, which got me into the improv troupe, and it got me into the student television network, and it got me into a lot of the other things I'm doing. Kind of set me right on picking a major, because I am here for academics after all. As much as I love to have fun and goof off and do literally whatever I want most of the time, but it really set me back straight on my school first, get your work done, and then you do what you want. And I also had some other, like I said, my brother went here, but he went here while I was here. He was a junior when I was a freshman, so he was the president of the comedy group my freshman year, and then when he was a senior is when I actually got in, and he was still that's when he became the president. So he guided a lot of that for me, taught me a lot of what I know about that. And that was nice to kind of have such a constant force, somebody I had lived with my whole life, to be guiding me and showing me like, oh, this is a thing to do on campus. Like if you need help, go to these people. There's like a student writing center. There's things like that. There are resources on campus. And since he was so much older, he knew so much more, and he showed me all the things that I needed to know. And I also had, freshman year, a really good experience with my RA on my freshman floor, and that made me want to be an RA. I did the interview process, did not become an RA, so here I am in my house that I'm renting, which I probably prefer. It's a lot of fun to still be able to live with all my friends and kind of have that freedom to not have people to watch over, but you know, it's one of those things that you think about, like, oh, what if I had done that? That would have been a lot of fun too, because that was something I was really interested in. But he was a great dude, and he was somebody that was also kind of like a mentor, kind of a guiding force, and through that made a lot of other friends in the rest of the resident assistant staff. And that was a really nice thing to know other people on campus who knew so much about campus already and were kind of in that position to tell me all about all the things on campus. And so I learned about pialphaphi, and this is one of my favorite stories because it was kind of a joke at first. Some of my friends had seen the posters around campus, and they said, "Hey, Declan, like, because pialphaphi is an Asian interest fraternity, I am clearly not of Asian origin, so it was like, let's like, well, Declan, why don't you come to the meetings?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, sure, like, sure, let's go." And I don't know if that took them by surprise, but it kind of took me by surprise, because it was like, this is something that I'd never done before, never really dabbled in. Greek life wasn't something that I had ever shown any interest in or felt any draw towards. And then went to all the meetings, and it turned out to be something I wanted to get into. And then we founded the colony here. Well, since we're so new, that was literally the end of my freshman year, and this is the end of my junior year. So we've only been on campus for about you could call it 2.5 years on technicality, but it's still so new. And I'm talking purely our campus and other campuses that there are new colonies, new chapters. But people still have that chance to get in on the ground floor and kind of shape it and make it what they want and get what they want out of it. Because you get in what you put out. That's something that you learn very fast in Greek life, especially in such a small, new, budding organization. And nationally, it's been a lot of fun. Right after we crossed in spring, we went to the national convention in, I believe it was July. And that was a ton of fun. We met people from North Carolina, we met some people from California, Michigan, Iowa, and kind of just being the new guys there. Everybody wanted to know what was up with us, what we were about. And that was a ton of fun getting to know everybody, and then that gave us the opportunity to kind of communicate with outside chapters, be like, hey, what do you guys do when things like this happen, or how do you guys handle when shit hits the fan, I guess, for lack of a better term. So that's always good to have those networking opportunities and have people around the country who are like, oh yeah, like if you need this, then come on out. If you're here and you need a place to crash, like we have a couch. And things like that are always nice. Hopes are, like I said, become a practicing psychiatrist, or not even necessarily psychiatrist, just get some counseling job so I can give back what I felt I got from the people who helped me when I needed them most. My parents, the rest of my family, the people on the RA staff freshman year, anybody who, when I needed something or needed somebody to tell me what I needed to hear, I want to be able to give that back. And even just dabbling in that, learning about it, not even participating in it, has been a very rewarding experience. So ideally, I hope to be able to do that for somebody else. Dreams is a lot harder to nail down, I guess. Everybody's got the nice house, the nice car, But I don't know. I think I'd like to stay around here. I like the East Coast a lot, so I'll probably end up somewhere along it. But I don't think I'm gonna go west or across the ocean for any long stretch of time. Anyway, I like traveling. I've traveled quite a bit, but I don't think I could stake a claim anywhere other than States. Probably nothing. I don't think I would have wanted to alter anything that's happened. And I feel like if I start giving advice to him and muddling about in my past, then past me would do something different, and I really like where I'm at in my life, so I don't think changing anything would do any good for me, I guess. So I guess advice would be just like, keep on, do your thing. That's kind of what I try to do now, so I guess if that's the advice I'm giving myself now, that would be the advice I would give to past me. Which would be, keep doing what you're doing and do it as best you can. Be who you are, be that will. That was one of our high school mottos, and that really rings true to me still. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you learned a little bit about me, even if you don't know who the hell I am or ever see my face or hear my voice again. But I'm not the only one that's done this, so click here for the last guy, was Ricky, one of our new guys, and click here for our service video. Click here for a different service video. Alright, thanks guys. See ya.